Internet Invitational Tier List. What could possibly go wrong? Before I get started, the first thing I want to say is that this tier rating system has nothing to do with each person individually. It is only based on things like the impact they had on the Internet Invitational, how their personality or how they shine through at the Internet Invitational. There are people on this list that I'm going to rate pretty low that I personally enjoy their content or think that they seem like a really good person, but they just didn't show up or couldn't stand out in an event like this. We have 48 golfers to get through, so let's just jump into it. For the sake of saving time, I added these 6 people as a D, and it's only because I just don't feel like there were many standout moments, or they just I basically can't really think of many things that they did in the Internet Invitational. And so when there's no standout moments, I'm just going to put people in the D category. That being said, I'm not connected to the content or anything that these 6 people make. So it is also possible that that's like a reverse bias, that I just didn't focus on them as much as maybe other people would. But for me, they go into the D category. Now, going straight into it, beef. I personally don't watch a ton of Barstool content. I didn't really know beef before the Internet Invitational, but obviously with everything that's happened since the event, the way they edited this and the way he comes across is incredible. The tribute at the end is just unmatched. He's a huge standout. Everybody has had nothing but positive things to say to him. He hung in there, struggled with golf, but battled it out, hung in, and won. This is a story that is unmatched. I don't care what they do for next year's Internet Invitational, $10 million, whatever it is, they will not be able to match the ending that this one had. And a lot of this is related to beef. This will be forever beef's event. So maybe it's just because of everything that happened. It doesn't matter. I don't care. S tier. Joey Cold Cuts. See, this, I'm a huge Bob Does Sports fan. Love Joey. Think he's hilarious. The Bob Does Sports crew, unfortunately, most of them got eliminated after the first round. Joey hung around all the way. He was at the finals. He was involved deep into the content. Now, granted, Bob Does Sports was a part owner or a direct collaborator with this event, but regardless, Joey was there, involved, being his classic self. He was funny, entertaining, and so I'm gonna bring him in as an A. This is one that could be controversial. I'm a big fan of Grant Horvat, but he is more of a timid personality. He's entertaining to watch, but it's mostly in these 1v1 type scenarios to where the cart cams and just that small group can allow his personality to shine. In something like this, when you've got Barstool and you've got Bob Does Sports and you've got all of these personalities fighting for attention, Grant is never going to stand out. And his golf wasn't bad, but it was not enough to stand out without having a personality. I'm going to put him in as a D. And again, I think that this one proves that I'm trying not to be biased, because I'm a big fan, but I think specifically for this event, he just didn't have the camera time. His personality wasn't able to show through. It just wasn't the environment for Grant. Nade's shot. This is a weird one for me. I've watched Nade's shot for 15 years or something. I was really big into Call of Duty back in the day. Big fan of Nade's shot. His personality is it's so unique. And I do think it was able to shine through a little bit. Obviously, he wasn't there very long, and he didn't seem to stay all the way till the end. So a B or higher is not possible, really, given that. But I do think the day that he was playing with PFT, they hung in there, they battled it out. Nate Shot's personality was able to shine through a little bit. I'm going to give him a C. That might be a little bit generous and a little bit biased just because I'm a big fan of Nate Shot. But I feel like for the little bit of time that he did have on camera, it was enjoyable to watch. Rick Shields, I think a similar story to Grant. He doesn't seem to have the personality that's going to be able to shine through in this group of people. No standout moments that I can remember, but I'm just going to go with a D. I think Garrett is also very similar to Grant, but he hung around till the very end. I'm going to go with a C. No major standout moments for Garrett. He was there till the end, but even with all the Melosi controversy going on and stuff, like Garrett was kind of called out as being the good kind of face. But even in that moment, when he could have gotten involved, he just threw his hands up and was like, it's not us, man. So I'm going to go with a C. No standout moments, but he was there. He did seem to do a good amount for the event. I'm torn on that. It's somewhere between that C and D. Man, this list feels really harsh. Chandler. This is one that surprised me. When I saw Chandler, I'm like, oh, they're making the view play, going for somebody with Mr. Beast. They're going to focus on him. They did not focus on him. It didn't seem like he was super engaged. I'm sure that it was uncomfortable, not like being sort of like a lesser golfer in that environment. But again, similar story. Personality wasn't able to shine through. D. I think that's going to be a big part of all of this for where people stand, is how much their personalities and how much camera time they were able to gain from their personality. And everybody else is just going to get put into the D category. Josh Richards, I mean, I think a little bit of a slow start, kind of showed up a little bit later on. C. The next one's interesting. Gabby and Kyle Berkshire. I'm grouping those two together because it seemed like that anytime you saw one, you saw both. They were always playing partners. They played really well. Couldn't close it out in the end, but I mean, as a whole, they played great as a team, so I'm going to just grade them together. They did seem more focused on the golf, which is not a bad thing. I'm going to go C tier, but I do think that there's an argument for them to be B tier. They are entertaining to watch. They didn't have any sort of they definitely didn't have any negatives against them. I just don't think that they had any major positives, at least personality wise. And I think that without that, their golf would have they would just had to have been a little bit more successful to bump them up without having the personality camera time. PFT, if it wasn't for the drama with Luke Kwan, he probably would have been a D for me. Just obviously the lower end golfer, not sure, I didn't see a ton of personality shine through. It doesn't seem like somebody who would struggle with it in the big group. But I think was put in a weird spot with all the Luke stuff. But honestly, the way he handled that, the way that Luke was kind of talking to him when he did show up, kudos to PFT. I'm going to give him a C. I don't know if it's justified, but I was impressed with how he handled that. Gruden is an interesting one. Similar to PFT, if it wasn't for one moment, he's probably a D. Golf wasn't there, doesn't have obviously he doesn't have a problem being in a big group and doesn't have a problem being a personality, but I do think he probably would struggle to have a big personality in this setting. But after all of the Luke Kwan stuff, everybody's talked about it. The speech that he had was absolutely incredible. That bumps him up at least to a C. I'm going to go all the way to a B. I mean, the value that he provided, he completely changed the outlook for an entire team. I think that there's only one person out there that could have done that. It's him. D.O.D. I'm going to be honest, I've never really liked D.O.D. King. But I mean, it's just that it's not my thing. I mean, more power to him. He's going down the path, the villain, I guess, of golf. You do you, whatever works, do it. It's just never really been my thing, but he kind of did show up. He provided entertainment value for this event. He brought out the putter. He had the awkward kind of stuff with Sarah in the cart. The day at Cliffhangers, he kind of fell off a little bit. It seemed it was a different version than I've ever seen of him. He was just completely in his head and not self-deprecating in a funny way, but he was just crushing himself. I'm going to go with a B. There's a chance I would move this to a C, but he was talked about and there was no major negative controversy. So it's not like he was talked about in all the wrong reasons. He was just talked about a little bit being annoying, the putt, Sarah Winter, but he was involved, and that's a lot more than I can say for a lot of people, so I'm going with a B. Wesley Bryan, classic. I mean, he was the Wesley Bryan you would expect. It was fun watching him and Bob play together. Unfortunately, they got kicked out in the early stages, so you didn't really get to see a lot of camera time with him, but he was true Wesley Bryan, entertaining to watch, pretty good golf. B. George Bryan is a very interesting one. He surprised me. Kind of the the talk of all the other people that didn't seem to be able to stand out in this big of a group with these types of personalities. I'm not saying that George did stand out. His personality type is just more timid, but he stood out more than I expected him to be able to. And he played good golf, got a little bit more camera time moving past the first round. I'm going to keep him with Wesley at a B. Sketch, I mean, I think the guy's funny. It's like a little bit gimmicky funny, but like it's still just funny. But for whatever reason, like it just wasn't able to stand out. I mean, I think that what makes him funny is just not going to be able to stand out when you have 48 other people kind of fighting for attention, I guess. Like, I think I'm just have to go with a D. The golf definitely didn't stand out. Peter Finch. I think I'm going to give him a slightly inflated score just because I associate him with the person who kicked off all the drama. With him going over and telling everybody about how Paige pushed down the bushes, it just seemed to unleash mayhem. Now, this isn't something that he did. He was just informing somebody. It's just what happened and the timing of everything. But I kind of associate it to him a little bit. But also it speaks volumes that he was there all the way to the end. He's always entertaining. He played good golf. He got a little bit wrecked by his team on cliffhangers. But he played good golf, was entertaining, was the Peter Finch and then just was kind of not the one that started the drama and controversy on the finals, but it just like started with something that he said. So I'm going to go B. Trent. So again, I don't watch a lot of Barstool. I do watch the Foreplay guys from time to time. Trent's always been an interesting one, but the cart cam footage with Trent and FP was just top tier, and that alone brings him up for me. I mean, I could go A or B with this one. I'm gonna go A. I mean, he's a part of the Barstool crew that got all this running. The cart cams with FP. Like, he was involved the whole way through. I'm going to go A. Again, this might be one that's slightly inflated. It's possible that he should be a B, but I'm going to go A. Duke. Now, this is one where I've got to, like, pull myself away from it a little bit. I find the Duke antics, honestly, like, a little bit annoying. I'm sure the camera crew had a tough time editing out 90% of what he said so that it wouldn't come across as just, like, too much. That being said, he was talked about a ton. He brought a different kind of value to this whole event. It wasn't golf. He was always just kind of tossed away as the throwaway match. But he did provide some sort of value for the event. He got a lot of camera time because of the personality, and it was able to shine through the rest. So I'm going to go with a B. Not my thing, but I mean, he stood out. Sharf, this is an interesting one. Sharf never has to fight for attention. The way his personality, he's very loud, he's very vocal. But as of right now, like when I'm thinking about it, and it's been a few days since the Internet Invitational has been done, but I can't think of any major moments with Sharf. I have to be missing something. I refuse to believe that he wasn't able to grab some sort of camera time. But at least from my memory, I'm going to go D for this event specifically. I mean, I feel like I have to say, like, again, this isn't related to people from outside of the Internet Invitational. It's just like, I was shocked. I just don't think he had a huge presence there. The Jet, I mean, for him, he played lights out. He was the sole survivor of Bob Does Sports after the first kind of match. I mean, he was the Jet. I'm gonna go B. Micah. This is a weird one. As I was watching it, it kind of felt like a little bit of envy showed through with Micah in the earlier stages. He was kind of laughing about like some of the people being out and Grant, and maybe I'm reading too much into it because of all the histories and all this stuff that's gone around with everybody. But he seemed a little bit off. He also didn't play well throughout this event. But one thing where I was definitely wrong is like I said, I had the idea that he was a little bit envious or just something was going on. And then he called out Melosi for using slope at cliffhangers. And to me, in the moment, I was like, wow, like he's really stretching things now. I was wrong. But yeah, I mean, Micah just didn't quite have it, but he was there, he was grinding. didn't have the golf. His personality is not going to shine in this group of people. I'm going to give him a C. It just seemed to be like an off weekend or, off run for him. Roger played incredible golf, ran into the brick wall that is Brad Dahlke. I don't think he can't be an A or S tier. Like, to me, I'm saving that for the people that kind of, I guess, have more personality and golf presence, as I'm looking at Joey Coldcuts and Trent in the A slot. Definitely didn't bring the golf presence, but I'm looking for the people to go in S and A as like standouts. Roger stood out with golf, but maybe I'm wrong here. I'm going to go with B. I think that if he didn't have to play against Brad at the end to get eliminated, I think he would be A tier. I think that his golf would have carried him into the A tier slot. But I think he just ran into the brick wall. Whitney is another interesting one. Obviously, big part of Barstool there the whole time. Different but similar to Peter Finch, was a little bit tied up in some of the controversy. When Melosi was called out for the rangefinder, he went over and started talking to him. That ruffled some feathers. Don't think he should have done it. It almost seemed like he was incentivizing or encouraging cheating or just trying to hide somebody from cheating. But he was there. He did contribute to a lot of like kind of major stuff. So I'll go C tier. Bubby. Now, this one is another kind of like reverse bias for me, I think. For whatever reason, I've never been a fan. I don't dislike the guy, but I've just never been like a fan of Bubby. That being said, the Internet Invitational has changed my mind of Bubby. The way that he himself called out Melosi, one of his friends, one of the people that are with Good, he just, I just view him now as a very stand-up, genuine guy. I don't know. All of this changed my view of Bubby. So I think for someone to stand out enough to change someone's entire perspective of them, I'm going A tier. Riggs, I'm gonna go B tier on Riggs. I mean, he's a huge part of this event, obviously. I don't know. I just think that he's again another one of those people that the personality is never going to be able to shine through in this group. But still, huge person in this whole event, and I think it would be awful to go anywhere below a B for what he's done for the event, but again, it just wasn't able to stand out quite enough. Lacey. Now, she was so impressive. Like, I mean, we're talking about some of these super successful content creators that were not able to handle this environment with these people, these personalities enough to like stand out or be talked about. Imagine being someone who just works at Big Cedar Lodge. This crew comes in and then they're like, hey, want to play? I don't know how she did it. I don't know how she kept it together, or mostly kept it together. She was falling apart there at the end. But I'm impressed enough that she was able to stand out in any way in this group, given that she's not herself a content creator yet. I'm going to go with a C. I was really impressed. Andrew Santino didn't get a ton of camera time relative to some other people. Think the guy's hilarious, but just kind of like a lack of standout moments. C tier. Mason and Cole. I'm going D tier on both of these. Just the lack of standout moments. Kind of a similar thing with Mac. And again, I might be missing some things or misremembering some things from the event, but Mac is a great short form guy. I mean, the massive slices, massive hooks this guy's able to pull off, it's incredible for short form. But a short form person is going to really struggle to stand out here. Andrew Alston, I mean, this guy was just cool to watch. I'm going to go with a C. I mean, it was impressive. I think it's obviously like an inspirational thing. He battled all the way through, and played pretty reasonable golf. Going C tier. Sarah Winter, I mean, she accidentally stood out with all of the you're him. I don't know. I'm stuck between C tier and D tier. I mean, she played well. I'm going to go C tier. She played well, but man, all that you're him was brutal. The one and only FP. Love the guy. I'm going to be biased here. I don't care. I'll try to hold some of my bias. I'll go A tier instead of S tier. Obviously, again, most of Bob Does Sports crew got eliminated after that first round. FP was there. I mean, like I said, the cart cam with Trent, incredible, so funny. And he was there all the way until the end. Now, granted, Bob does sports, big collaborator, part owner, whatever on this. So I'm sure he couldn't leave. But FP was just FP. He's always able to get some form of screen time, even if he's not playing A tier. Francis surprised me. I didn't know a whole lot about Francis before this. He was able to battle. He played reasonable golf. All the way up until the finals. I think everyone started falling apart except for Brad, obviously. But he battled. He was able to take some jabs and just spark a little bit of chaos going into the finals. I'm going to put him at B tier. Chaz at S tier. I don't care. I mean, this guy, I'd seen a little bit of him before the Internet Invitational, but I don't think this guy missed a fairway. And he was also entertaining to watch. He worked really well with everybody else. He was a good team player. He got camera time. I mean, there's not a single negative thing I could say about Chaz. He absolutely crushed it. Definite S tier. Luke Kwan. I mean, controversy. So I'm probably going to put him higher on this list than what most people would agree to, because I think that a lot of people would be mad at him and therefore put him lower. Obviously, I don't think anybody cares that he slept through his alarm clock, right? Like, it's a little bit wild. How do you sleep through your alarm clock for $1 million event? I don't think that is really relevant. Most people are talking about how he treated PFT afterwards. That being said, I think that, and it's no excuse, I think he was frustrated. He talks about how him and his friends banter. They don't banter like that. Like, it was just straight up dogging PFT. And you know, Luke Kwan's friends are good at golf, so it's more of like friendly jabs. So I think he was just frustrated, took a little bit of that on PFT. That was really bad. But from that point forward, he did battle. He did play good golf. You know, with Gruden, he was like hyper supportive of him, which I think was kind of countering how he treated PFT. But you know, you can't ignore Luke Kwan. I mean, if it wasn't for the Luke Kwan drama, there would have been less, not a lot less, but to some degree, less viewership on the first episode. I'm going to go B, Luke Kwan. Paige was twisted up in some level of chaos the whole time. I mean, she's posting on social while the Internet Invitational is going on. She's in tears. People are attacking her for her personality style. She did come on a little bit strong and controlling. It was a little bit tough to watch. That being said, she was heavily involved. She got a lot of camera time. She played incredible golf. You know, you can make your own opinions of what she was doing in the finals. I'm with, you know, some people that I've seen. I'm with them. I agree. I don't think that she was purposely trying to cheat. I do think she cheated, but I think it was accidental. I just don't think she was thinking about it. So I'm not going to dock her points for like explicitly cheating. But as a whole, I mean, she got a lot of camera time and she played really well. I'm going to go B tier. Bob, S tier. I don't care. This is my one completely biased answer for all things. Bob, I love everything this guy does. I think that he is always so captivating to watch. He's entertaining. He's the best person to have on a team. The amount he was hyping up Wesley was just incredible. But love Bob. Always going to be S tier. Obviously played a huge role in getting this event going. There from start to finish, providing value, S tier. Honestly, he's 100%. If I'm not being biased, he's A tier. But I get to be biased. S tier. Melosi. So this is one that threw me a little bit. Like, I've seen quite a bit of Melosi and good stuff. He's like never like a huge standout, but he's like really great at golf. He's got a decent personality. So he's one of those people that like hover in the middle of the pack. I've never seen or heard of any of the loose with the rules stuff, so that was news to me for this. But man, I didn't expect him. We all heard rumors about how there was going to be a lot of controversy in the later rounds, and we'd forget about the whole Luke Kwan stuff. I did not think it was going to be with Melosi. You can't argue that he's sparked up a lot of controversy, added viewership value to the Internet Invitational, but I think he cheated. The footage that you see, I don't think that he was turning it off. I do think that it was off, but I think that he was going back to make sure that he didn't forget to turn it off, because my opinion, I think that he was just turning it on as needed and then would immediately turn it off. When he got called out, he just went back to verify he didn't forget to turn it off. So he's getting docked some points because I do think that he cheated. I mean, when Fasoli moved the ball in a previous hole, Malossi was being a little bit dodgy with that. Bubby was trying to make sure that everybody understood exactly what had happened, and Malossi was trying to get away without a penalty. So seeing some of the loose with the rules stuff docks Malossi some points, but he did provide a lot of value. I'm going to go C tier. Brad Dahlke, S tier. In a lot of the content creation space, going all the way back to some of the gaming content, you typically usually have two categories of people, and this very much exists for golf. You have the people who are bad or mediocre at golf, but their personalities shine through everyone else. These people succeed because they're just entertaining to watch. The other side of that, you have people that are just incredible at golf. Oftentimes their personalities are not quite there, but their pure skill is what makes people want to watch them. That is Brad. And if you watch, I almost feel bad saying this, if you watch some of Brad's like older videos, like solo videos, some of the entertainment, he knows he needs to be more entertaining, and some of it feels a little bit forced. But you put Brad Dahlke in the Internet Invitational to where he doesn't have to hold all of the entertainment value on his own shoulders. What a standout. He got put in so many impossible golf spots and just shined in all of them. He was an incredible teammate. He comes across as a very genuine person, very nice person, incredible golfer. He was entertaining because he had some entertainment support. Absolute S tier, no question. Frankie. I mean, what a roller coaster. Frankie played really well. I mean, except for the finals, which he still had a couple of good shots, but he was self-admittedly crumbling on the last round. Like it was just, there's no denying it. He wasn't trying to deny it. He was getting out ahead of it. I mean, the guy was barely able to stand. But, I mean, I think he shined quite a bit at the Internet Invitational. He's going to be talked about for a long time. I mean, he's going to have viral clips of blading the ball across the green anyways. I'm going to go A tier. I think that he's great. He was great to watch. Okay, there's all 48 golfers. But I think that we need to rate Dave. Again, I'm not a big Barstool guy. I've never been a big fan of Dave. Like, it's just not my thing. That being said, one, this whole event is like, I mean, it couldn't have been done without him. So he gets put pretty high up the rankings solely for putting the event on. The way he interacted with Frankie was hilarious. I mean, again, the final day, Frankie was absolutely falling apart, and Dave didn't do the, oh, maybe I should back off, like he's struggling enough on his own. No, Dave doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down. I mean, the announcement at the end of Frankie Butterknives and Brad 2017 Masters, like, that was top tier. It was fantastic watching Dave go around trying to make rules decisions, trying to keep this whole thing together, trying to figure it out as he went. I'm gonna go A tier for Dave. I think that'll be a controversial take, but I mean, I think for the Internet Invitational, I mean, he crushed it. What more do you want? Anyways, this is my Internet Invitational tier list. Let me know what you think. I mean, obviously, this is all opinion-based. I think, I did the best that I could with what I thought and my opinions. Let me know if you have any differing opinions. Let me know if you think anything is way off.